even after we won game one, I was trying to be happy, but I was also so worried internally. Like
it's more like I found him clearly because they reviewed it and I found him, so there's no need to look at it.
I don't want to feel this feeling again, and it'll make me a lot better. And
the OKC Thunder had a very disappointing conclusion to their season, not in terms of where they finished in the rankings, but it really has to suck whenever your season ends at the hands of a foul. And now there are huge questions about the core of the OKC Thunder. Huge changes could be coming to the OKC Thunder because of some drama involving their most dramatic player over the past year. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I am currently in Mexico looking for the OKC Thunder, the New York Knicks, and probably my favorite of all, the Denver Nuggets. I was trying to get an interview with some of these players, but unfortunately, no dice so far. The moment the OKC Thunder lost to the Dallas Mavericks, many were asking one ridiculous question. Was this the worst first seed in NBA history? Absolutely not. During the 2022 to 2023 season, the OKC Thunder finished 10th in the Western Conference with a 40-42 record. They had the 13th best offense in the NBA and the 14th best defense in the NBA. They were also the 14th best team in terms of net rating. And this past year, they made significant improvements in almost each and every statistical category. Third best offense in the NBA, fourth best defense in the NBA, second in net rating, the best team in the Western Conference, at least from the regular season. The difference? Well, the fact that the number 2 overall pick from the 2022 NBA draft was finally available definitely made a huge difference, but also the evolution of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finished 5th in MVP voting during the 2022 to 23 season, but nobody cares about how good of a player you are whenever your team isn't in contention for the playoffs. And this is despite him averaging arguably some better numbers last year: 31 points per game, 35% from 3, 5.5 assists per game as well. This past year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander practically replicated those numbers, and the best part of all is finished in 12th place for most improved player. Unfortunately, many Thunder fans are saying that Shai was the person that ended their season because of the foul on PJ Walker. And when Shai was asked about it, he had this to say.
We talk about it all year, the little things that go into winning games, and being disciplined, and it sucks. Obviously, if I had the moment back, I wouldn't have fouled him and just let him make or miss the shot. But yeah, basketball, you win some, you lose some, you make mistakes.
Have you seen the replay?
No, I can't look at it. But they looked at it, and I assume I fouled them if they looked at it and still didn't overturn it.
When you say you can't look at it, what do you mean?
I don't want to look at it.
Do you think that'll be permanent? You just don't want to look at it ever? Or?
I just want to look at it. I found him, clearly, because they reviewed it, and I found him, so there's no need to look at it.
I think the fact that anyone is looking at this OKC Thunder team, whose best player is about to turn 26, whose second best player was literally in his rookie season, who have 11 first-round draft picks in the next 3 years of the NBA draft, it's absolutely insane that anyone thinks that the OKC Thunder are in a bad situation. They overachieved this season, and that's not even in a bad way, and they have a lot to hang their hat on. But unfortunately, a symptom of having so many high draft picks and so much rapidly developing talent, and a general manager that just loves to swing trades like Sam Presti, means that a lot of these players who aren't panning out may see their days become numbered on the OKC Thunder. The most popular member of the Oklahoma City Thunder on this channel this past year wasn't Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it wasn't Chet Holmgren, it wasn't Isaiah Joe, it wasn't Lou Dort, it wasn't Jalen Williams, it was none other than our favorite Aussie on this channel, Josh Giddey. We all remember what happened to Josh Giddey in November. That's not what this video is about. But unfortunately, it has been a very difficult season for the 6th overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft. Remember, Josh Giddey was selected 1 pick before Jonathan Kuminga, who was selected 10 picks before Alperen Şengün. The OKC Thunder were hoping that Josh Giddey could be a high IQ playmaker that could take some pressure off of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who could develop his jumper, step back and hit the 3, which to his credit credit, he has improved his jumper considerably, but at the same time, during the playoffs, he was a little bit of a liability. And as a result, there are several high-profile sources that are speculating that this could be the end of Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey has officially become contract extension eligible, but given his series versus the Dallas Mavericks, why would the OKC Thunder decide to extend him? It's been a very difficult season for Josh Giddey, and it's about to get worse, and it's way worse than, I don't know, someone just trolling him as he's walking at a college campus.
Oh my God! Josh Giddey! Is she of age? Is she of age? Is she of age?
Look, man, we're gonna keep this strictly to basketball because, again, back in January, Josh Giddey was acquitted of all charges, and, well, we don't want to see ourselves get sued for trying to bring back allegations that he was acquitted of. Is it a sketchy story? Most definitely. Is it a story that we're gonna harp on consistently on this channel? Not so much. My interpretation of that story is the woman involved with Josh Giddey didn't want to be famous for that moment with Josh Giddey, and as a result, they stopped pursuing charges. There are some people that believe that Josh Giddey went to an 18+ club and this woman had a fake ID. There are multiple takes on this, and it's impossible to nail the right take. At the end of the day, the charges were dropped, so we're gonna drop it on this channel. But of course, the reason we're bringing it up currently is because during his exit interview, Josh Giddey discussed how difficult his season has been.
You don't feel like getting out of bed. You know, for a number of reasons, and as I said, I'm just lucky to have people around me that care, that you know, are there for me, and coming in every day, seeing my teammates, that helps. Being in the gym, working out, that definitely helps. But yeah, there's a million things, but they're probably the few that help the most, I guess, with staying on track and, you know, drowning out outside noise.
And I guess this whole incident off of the court was really distracting people from how poorly Josh Giddey was playing on the court. Now, in the OKC Thunder's first round of the playoffs, when they faced off against the New Orleans Pelicans, you know, a team that has been absolutely disjointed, primarily because Zion Williamson has been injured, Brandon Ingram clearly sees himself on his way out. But regardless, Josh Giddey had a pretty good series. About 26.5 minutes per game, Josh Giddey was averaging 12.5 points per game. He was shooting 50% from 3 during that series. But against the Dallas Mavericks, his role was reduced significantly. And when Mark Daigneault was asked why he was benched, this is what he had to say.
I mean, at the end of the day, just like considering all the information before every single game and treating the game as every game as its own life, I just wasn't comfortable doing it up until now. You know, at the end of the day, I'm making a lot of different decisions. They're not all going to be right or wrong. You know, it's...
Now, bear in mind, this is a very young team. Josh Giddey himself is still 21 years old, going into his age 22 season. So obviously, he didn't take this as the best adjustment for us is for me to come off of the bench versus the Dallas Mavericks. Instead, he took this personally, and unfortunately, he's not Michael Jordan. His minutes were cut in half during the first 4 games of the Dallas Mavericks series. He started off of the bench for Game 5. He was clearly a liability versus the Mavericks, and he even admitted himself that he handled this situation rather poorly.
As I said, probably the first 2 games of the playoffs against Dallas, I didn't play a lot, and I was, not playing well, and I was probably in my own head, and I wasn't being a good teammate, and it just felt bad. Like, even after we won Game 1, I was trying to be happy, but I was also so worried internally. Like, I couldn't fully get around the guys the way I wanted to, and it was a bad feeling. And from that point on, I made a promise to myself that whether I play 5 minutes or 40 minutes, I'm going to be the best teammate I can be. I'm going to be up off the bench, cheering for the guys, being supportive, and that was kind of the mindset I took into the next 3 games. And love my teammates, so I just wanted to be there for them as much as I could, and that was kind of my approach, to those last 3 games.
And you can tell at this point his confidence is shattered.
Coach did what he thought was best for the team, and to be honest, I probably agree with him. As hard as it is for a player to sit there and say, I should be on the bench. At the time, like Queso, Isaiah, Wiggs, these guys were probably better in this series for Dallas, and it's a tough pill to swallow. But as I said to Gello, it's for a 21-year-old to go through this now. It's probably good for me, and as I said, I don't want to feel this feeling again, and it'll make me a lot better and stronger as a player to never let something like this happen again.
The thing is, Josh Giddey has always had no problem taking accountability for his action. I mean, at least on the basketball court. it's clear that he needs to work on several aspects of his game. He needs to improve his three-point shooting numbers significantly, and there's a huge question of what Josh Giddey's role is going to be on this team moving forward, or if he's going to be playing on a different team. His role has been defined so far. Whenever Josh Giddey has the ball in his hands, he's a capable point guard or point forward, good enough to earn a contract extension. But the problem is, how ball dominant could Josh Giddey be on a team that features Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, with also Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams that are going to get contract extensions in the near future. And bear in mind, there's a brand new CBA, and the OKC Thunder have a plethora of first-round picks. You're either using those first-round picks to trade for a star, or maybe you strike gold and you need to extend those first-round picks in the future. I mean, just look at his exit interview. This man looks depressed. And whether that has to do with other external factors off of the court, or whether he had one of his worst years to date, is something that we could leave up for debate. But if the OKC Thunder are a questionable fit for Josh Giddey, then what's the purpose of keeping him? Especially when there are multiple teams that could give him the opportunity to be the focal point on offense. Well, there are three teams in particular that I think can use Josh Giddey's services. The Phoenix Suns have been desperate for a point guard, so the Phoenix Suns can trade, well, nothing. Yeah, they're kind of screwed. There's nothing you could trade for Josh Giddey. I'm sorry, Phoenix Suns fans. But what about the Brooklyn Nets? The OKC Thunder can use versatility in their front court, especially when Chet Holmgren subs out. So the OKC Thunder could trade Josh Giddey to the Brooklyn Nets, who would slide next to Mikal Bridges, and in return receive Nick Claxton in a sign-and trade. What about the Orlando Magic? They also have a versatile five that they could trade. The OKC Thunder could trade Josh Giddey and Kenrich Williams and get Wendell Carter Jr. in return. But probably my favorite fit for Josh Giddey would be none other than the San Antonio Spurs. This is the perfect situation for Giddey. This year's NBA draft class is famously weak, so you could trade Josh Giddey to the San Antonio Spurs and get Trey Jones and the number 8 overall pick in this year's NBA draft. The San Antonio Spurs have been incredible for player development. Josh Giddey will have Victor Wembanyama that he can team up with. The Spurs are typically quiet and there's not a huge spotlight on them, and OKC can get Trey Jones and the number 8 pick in return, which we all know how much Sam Presti loves draft picks. At the same time, the OKC Thunder can ask for Zach Collins instead of Trey Jones. You can't really go wrong. At the end of the day, I think the Thunder are in a great situation, and this is something that they should have expected from having a plethora of draft picks. I don't think Josh Giddey is screwed or his career is doomed, but I do think the fit with the OKC Thunder is rather questionable. At the end of the day, when you have the amount of draft capital that the Thunder have and the amount of talent that they have, at a specific point, you need to trade some of this talent, and you need to pick and choose the talent that makes the most sense for your rotation and the talent that you should move on from, because the worst thing the Thunder can do is extend players that just don't fit with the team. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about all this, man? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.